Is perfection dangerous? Let's get into it and find out. Perfectionism has three different types. There is self-oriented, other-oriented, and socially prescribed. And basically what perfectionism is setting unrealistic standards for yourself or others, or that you think that society expects unrealistic standards upon yourself and that you have to achieve them in order to be approved. So this unrealistic standard of yourself can really be harmful. So let's, how does it affect me? You know, that's a question that we really need to ask ourselves. What's it doing to me to set these high standards for myself? You know, why am I setting my standards so high when realistically I may not be able to get there as soon as I want? You know, it'd be unrealistic for me to want to set a goal of 100,000 subscribers to this channel in a single month. You know, that's unrealistic. Now, over the course of, say, 5 years, 2 to 5 years, that is a very realistic goal. My goal for this channel is 100 subscribers for the first month. You know, that's it. You know, and that's a very realistic goal to achieve. And to do that, I have to put out certain type of content and a certain number of it, you know, to get the videos out there, to get the people to watch. So those are realistic goals versus unrealistic goals. And when we set them so high, it really has a detrimental effect to us. Some of the things that that perfectionism affect and cause, okay? Obsessive compulsive disorder, eating disorders, social anxiety and phobias, body dysmorphia, self-harm, substance abuse, clinical depression, and suicide. And the list just keeps going. So I just wanted to touch on some of the big ones, you know, because I'm all about the mental health. And the body dysmorphia, that one's easy to see. You know, we can see when someone thinks that they're too heavy when they're not. You know, you take a woman that's 100 pounds and she thinks she's fat and she's constantly trying to lose weight, and then she gets diagnosed as anorexic, okay? But to her, her body still doesn't look good. You know, that's a perfectionism. You know, she's trying to get her body to be perfect in her eyes. So that's one of the things that we need to work on as a culture. But until the culture actually starts working on it, we need to work on it for ourselves. You know, we need to forget about TV. We need to forget about any of the media, the movies, the runway models. We need to forget about all of them and really focus down on what is healthy for us, both physically and mentally. There's a Professor Paul Hewitt at the University of British Columbia. He and another doctor did a landmark study 30 years ago on perfectionism. And here's a quote by Professor Paul Hewitt. Now this quote, I didn't get it directly from one of his articles. I got this from Medical News Today from October 2018. The author was Anna Sando. And I'm going to put a link to the description, or in the description, I'm going to put a link in the description to the article so that you can look it up and actually read the article for yourself. And when you Google perfectionism and mental health, a whole host of things come up. So the quote from the article: perfectionism often borders on self-abuse. Perfectionists are hugely hard on themselves with a hatred that is breathtaking. He adds, their inner critic treats them as harshly as a nasty adult berating a child. So what he is saying basically is that we are verbally and emotionally abusing ourselves. And we can't escape ourselves. We're always with ourselves. And, you know, I don't know about you, but, you know, I used to cuss myself for the littlest mistakes. If you were to talk to a person that way, let alone a child, oh my gosh, you would be in so much trouble, it's not even funny. So why are we talking to ourselves that way? Why have we set standards in our life so high that when we don't achieve them, we verbally and emotionally abuse ourselves? There is, when it comes to, they've done 2 different studies now on suicides here recently. Well, one's older, and the older study found that 50% of the people that committed suicide, when their families were interviewed, they were described as being perfectionists, and their families were just left amazed. They were left because they did have a perfectionist mindset. Now, they did another study, and they did this study between 1989 and 2016, and they found that the suicide rate had increased by 33% in young people because of perfectionism. And perfectionism went from 50% to 70%. That is a huge cause. A huge reason. 70% of our young people are committing suicide because they can't reach the unrealistic goals that are set for them. Japan has had this problem for years, okay? And their teenagers are committing suicide left and right because they can't live up to the standards that are being set upon them. Well, it's time that we lower the standards for ourselves, If I'm not going to push my child to suicide, then why am I going to push myself that hard? Let's set some realistic goals for ourselves. Let's set some realistic standards for ourselves. And that's where we're getting into, how can I overcome? And, there are several different things that you can do to overcome perfectionism. The first thing is to think of 3 things that you like about yourself. It might be your skin tone. It might be your smile. It could be your eyes. It could be your personality. It could be the way you care about other people. But think of 3 things to accept about yourself that you like about yourself. Okay? Start there. Getting over perfectionism requires cognitive behavior therapy. It really does. You've got to be sitting down with a counselor, okay, and be able to work through the issues that cause the perfectionism. Did you cause yourself to have the perfectionism? Or was it heaped upon you as a child by your parents and teachers? Were you told that you were never good enough? Were you told that, why can't you be better? Why are you so dumb? And so you study harder and harder and harder and harder. Well, guess what? I'm not book smart either. I don't have a great memory. So it requires me to have cards when I'm talking to you to get all the content that I want to get to you, to get the information that I want to get to you. And you know what? That's okay. Last year, I wouldn't have done it. But this year, I've grown beyond being a perfectionist. This year, it's okay to make mistakes. And if you look right over there on the top of the wall over there, that's 3 paintings that are abstract that I made a mistake on, and I left it alone. And I left it alone on purpose. Because it's beautiful just the way it is. Just like you are. You're beautiful just the way you are. Your personality, the way you look, the way you carry yourself. So take it easy on yourself. Another thing, one of the other things for it was temper your goals. And I've already talked about that, setting realistic goals for yourself. Now, it is okay to want to do good in your job. It really is. Wanting to do good in your job is a good thing. My goodness, if I go to a doctor, I kind of want them to be a little bit of a perfectionist. I really do. I want them to have studied hard. I'm not telling you to be lazy. I'm not giving you permission to be lazy. I'm not giving you permission to not do your work, okay? But what I'm saying is if I go to a doctor, I want them to know their job. If I go to an attorney, I want that attorney to know their job. You know, if I go to a mechanic, I want that mechanic to know how to work on my truck. For goodness sakes, okay? I'm not saying that. And it's okay to set realistic goals. If you're own a business, it's okay to set sales goals. It's okay to want to increase your customer base. It's okay to want to increase, but make sure you do it realistically. That you're not pushing yourself into such a stress that you're going to do a lot of damage to yourself physically because of stress. Stress is horrible on the body, we all know that. And because of emotional stress, mental stress. You know, whenever we're stressed out and we bring it home, guess what? Unhappy wife, unhappy life. Well, you know, that's when you bring it home with you and you're creating havoc and chaos inside your home because of your stress level, it's time to back off. So third thing you can do, just relax. You know, I mean, that's pretty much all it is. Just relax and make sure that you're getting everything that you need to do for yourself. And it's okay to want to work on things. It's okay to want to improve. Just do it realistically. You know, don't set it up to, you know, I want to reach the moon tomorrow. You know, that's not a realistic goal. All right? So set realistic goals for yourself. Take it easy on yourself. And so the question to the title is perfection dangerous? And yes, it is dangerous to your mental health. And if you're one of the few that are suffering from, say, clinical depression, that you already have a tendency to be depressed anyway, then it's very dangerous. You know, so set realistic goals. You know, don't be so OCD. You know, it's okay to be OCD about some things. Well, I want my picture leveled. That's fine, you know, but temper your goals back. Take it easy on yourself. Relax. You're important. You're valuable. And you are loved. I'll see you in the next video.